Hey, what's up? So I have Ruby with me, and first and foremost, girl, congrats on the baby and your beauty channel doing awesome right now.
Thank you.
Okay, so I've done colorism videos, and a lot of the times I get comments, and it talks about, well, it's from girls who say it's not just something that happens to dark skin, it's something that happens to light skin as well. So I'm like, well, I can't speak from the perspective of a light skinned woman. I can only speak from my perspective. So I thought it would be a good idea to get someone who can speak from their perspective, how it was for you growing up and things like that. Okay, so on your Facebook, you posted a post, and it was something in regards to, giving birth to your baby. And it says, y'all, my baby is 2 weeks old today, and she's legit chocolate. Like I always said, I wanted kids that don't have to prove they were black and look at God. So I just want to know, like, if you could just expound on that, where that came from, how it was for you to where, the skin color is something that you're like, I'm happy that I have that for my child.
Right. First and foremost, I want to say, like, I'm just learning about this term colorism. It's very new to me, but I'm glad that you and other people have been talking about it lately, because I think it's something that we need to, like, clear up real quick. Yeah. So basically where that post came from is, like, I did grow up. I'm a mixed girl. My dad is Mexican and my mom's black. But as in a lot of black households that, you learn as a child growing up, like, if you got any black in you, you're black, period. Right. Or at least that's what I was taught in my family. And growing up, I never knew the Mexican side of my family either. So I grew up as a black girl, like, identifying as a black girl, knowing nothing but what it was like to be, an African American. Yeah. And then going to school or having to, like, just be in different social groups and having to, like, prove my blackness all the time. Like, I always felt like I wasn't black enough because I was light skinned. So I would get discredited for a lot of things, like, you can't say the N-word, or you can't talk like that, like, yeah, you don't understand because you're not even all the way black. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, my skin complexion may look different than yours, but that doesn't mean I don't have the same struggle as you, and I don't have the same level of understanding as you to be a black woman in this country. Obviously,
right? Exactly. I mean,
trying to express that.
For me, a lot of times I get a lot of heat on my channel when I refer to anybody mixed as black, and I'm like, and I don't know, maybe because both me and you are from California, and it may be a California thing, like how I was raised was the same way. It was like, if you're half black or anything like that, you're black. So to me, when I talk about anybody that is mixed, it's like, if people start attacking me like, no, they're not black, and that's why you guys having these problems, and da-da-da-da. And it's like, I didn't know that so many people felt like that or thought like that until I started talking about things like that. And then when I started getting comments of girls saying, no, I was picked on for my skin color and things like that, I was like, oh, wait, maybe this is like a real issue, because, we don't realize certain things as issues if they don't directly happen to us. Yeah. So it was just interesting to see, like, a lot of the people commenting and saying certain things. I'm going to go to some of the comments, and then I want to just get your feedback on it, and you to kind of comment from your perspective and what you think about it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go to it right now. One of the comments was just like I said. It says, them MFers ain't black. This is why all black people look dumb and stupid for calling these people black people when they are for sure Indians in Spain and Portuguese. You not black at all, and black people need to stop claiming people that don't know nothing about African heritage.
Well, is that comment directed at people who actually don't have black in them, or is directed at someone who's quote unquote mixed?
That was just a comment on the colorism video, so I think that it was on a person that's mixed, because he didn't directly say. It wasn't a reply to anybody. It was just a straight out comment saying that, I think it was a broad statement, because the people in the video, most of them were mixed. So I think it was a broad statement.
Okay. I think that the whole conversation isn't ridiculous. I think us finding a new way to segregate, you know what I'm saying, and separate as a culture is ridiculous to me. I feel like we're supposed to be making progress in terms of, like, coming together, accepting one another, finding ways to accept one another as human beings. And I feel like this is taking a step backwards altogether. Like, I don't know if that person was feeling the need to address people who actually do not come from African American descent, or if they felt that if you're not 100% pure black, then you're not black at all. But either way, I just feel like why does it matter?
Right, right.
Why does it matter enough for you to say something so offensive to someone? Them MFers, like I just don't get. To me, it's just like, why are we fighting? We're supposed to be getting away from racism, and it's almost like this is kind of like racism in and of itself.
So another person, and you probably can relate. Another person said, when I was in high school, I was bullied by my black friends for not being black enough because I am mixed. Although both my parents are dark skinned, my granny is of lighter complexion. My friends used to tell me that I will get skin cancer and also tell me that I am albino. There is definitely nothing wrong with being albinos because everyone is beautiful, but I am not albino nor am I white. But I was never accepted for being mixed, and I hate to see us black girls struggle with identity because I never knew where I fitted in. I was the clearest mixed girl at my school. The whites never accepted, and neither did the black girls. So I can honestly relate.
Actually, I think that that's a good point. Unfortunately, for like the quote unquote mixed breed, that is something that you kind of run into. You sometimes run into crowds where you're not accepted either way, and that kind of sucks. And it's like, I feel like people who are like 100% black or appear to be, because of course, there's still that conversation that none of us really are. But the people who appear to be 100% black or 100% white or whatever, Asian or whatever Asian descent, it's easier to be accepted into social groups because it's easy for people to put you in a box and identify you. But when you look mixed and it confuses people, then you know how kids are too.
Right.
You know, it's anything that's different for kids, they find a reason to pick on them. And so that is definitely something that I have run into when I was a little girl. And because I always identified with being black, that's the reason why I didn't realize it then, but in retrospect, would go out of my way to do things to try to act more black, quote unquote. And it wasn't really acting black, it was just acting ghetto. I tried to find the most ghetto, extreme way to say everything. I wore my clothes as crazy as I possibly could. I talked loud. I talked with my hands. I was letting it be known, and it worked for me as a young girl. I ended up having a lot of black friends, and people just stopped coming at me like that eventually. You know what I'm saying? But now that I'm a grown woman, I feel like, wow, I can be comfortable in my own skin. I actually used to get offended when people would call me Mexican. Offended. And technically, I'm 50% Mexican. And so
why would you get offended when they would call you Mexican?
Because I didn't know anything about the Mexican culture, because I didn't grow up around my Mexican family. And because I always thought it was a diss, because I felt like you're taking away from my blackness. And growing up in a pro-black family, you know, the way that they talk in my family makes you feel proud to be black.
Right.
You know,
right.
They wanted us to feel proud to be black and to never deny our blackness, because unfortunately, you know, we do live in a country that has a lot of way to make on the racism topic. And so, you know, you can think you mixed all day. You can say mixed is a race, you know, which I don't subscribe to that. But you can say mixed is a race all day, but you go to jail, you know, you go to prison, they're going to real quick let you know you're not accepted. And you know what I'm saying? Like you better hope the black folks accept you, because now we're dealing with colorism. You know what I'm saying? So growing up, it was just like that. And so that's why I used to get offended, you know, like, what? I'm not Mexican. And now as an adult, I feel like I can be proud of who I am, regardless to what race, ethnicity, because I realize that matters so little in terms of my character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that, you know, it takes some time to, you know, grow into loving yourself. And as a child, you're so busy like going to school and trying to be accepted and trying to like fit in that you don't take time to actually dig deep within yourself. And then a lot of the times, I think as parents, our parents don't have those types of conversations. And I think that's what needs to happen now, because I mean, I've never ever sat down with my mom as a young girl, or never ever that I can remember, and her having conversation about, you know, unity within the black race and everything like that. Because I think when they were growing up, and it was like one of the points that my aunt made the other day when we were talking about colorism and racism and things like that. This whole divide is something that's happening more. Like it's much more. It's happening much more now than it was back then, because back then during the times of like Martin Luther King and, you know, fighting for civil rights, it didn't matter if you were light-skinned black or dark-skinned black. Everybody had to come together, and there was like more unity then, because it's like they all had to fight together for the oppressor and to get the rights of black people, because whether you were light-skinned or not, you still couldn't drink out of the whites-only fountain, and you still couldn't do some of those things. So there wasn't no time to dig each other apart for color. And so I think that's probably one of the reasons why, you know, I never had those types of conversations with my mom, because it wasn't something that, you know, it wasn't something that she felt like was an issue or was aware that it was an issue. But my question to you is, how do you think going forward raising your child? Do you think that it would be important to, you know, have these types of conversations, and what kind of conversations do you think it will be that you'll have to kind of instill or talk to her to kind of help her through certain things regarding color and race and things like that?
First and foremost, I want to make sure that I can teach my daughter as much history as possible. History about, you know, Black people in America, about our heritage, where, you know, where we all began. And that way she understands how we all became so mixed, and how being mixed is not necessarily a negative thing. So I want to make sure that she understands, like, yes, this is the blood that is running through your veins. This does not make you superior or inferior to anyone. It is simply the way that God created you. And that's going to be the basis of our conversations. Like, I want to be incredibly transparent, but I don't want to indoctrinate her to believe that one is better than the other. That's the part of the conversation that's so ridiculous to me. And I wonder, and you may know, based on like your research, where did this begin? Did this stem from light-skinned people, like a group of light-skinned people beginning to act like, you know, they were better than their Black counterparts or their white or Mexican or whatever, you know, counterparts? Or did this begin from the pro-Black groups feeling like, you know what, you guys are not enough for us? Like, where did this even stem from?
No, this is something that has been systemically happening for years. This is something that dates all the way back to slavery, with the brown paper bag test. There was a divide happening way back then, before we had rights, before we had privileges. And it started back in the slavery days when we were put against each other, because putting us against each other was the way to be able to control us. If we come together as one, we were going to be too powerful. So the oppressor had to come up with a way to divide and conquer. So a way that they were able to divide and conquer was like, okay, let me separate something, because, you know, Black has always had this connotation that it's like evil or mean and everything like that. And then white is supposed to be like pure and everything like that. So they were like, okay, the slaves who are lighter skin or, you know, mixed or whatever, they're going to be, you know, treated with privilege because they're more on the pure side, and we're going to allow them to be inside. And then the slaves who are darker, they're going to be on the outside. So then it wasn't, so it's something that's been conditioned in the mind. And then it's something that, you know, a lot of people are enforcing in like television and Hollywood, and just, you know, putting light skin above dark skin, making light skin be something that's superior than dark skin and things like that. So that's kind of where it started from. The only reason that it kind of came to a halt at some point was, like I said, when it was the whole Martin Luther King revolutionary stage, where it was like, no matter what, we have to come together, and we have to fight this together. And now, you know, we're like, everybody is so removed. Social media has gotten so many people disconnected. People are slipping back into the conditioning that we kind of broke away from for a little bit. But this is something that dates all the way back to slavery.
Got it. And you know what, when you put it like that, I'm very aware of that much. But like you said, it did change at one point. And I guess was hoping that change would last, would perpetuate.
Right.
And so I feel like we're taking steps backwards now. You know what I'm saying? It's so sad to me. But I do want to say, like, I stand totally on the side of feeling like, first of all, we're all equally the same. I don't care what anybody says. I have never in my life been even thought that as a light-skinned girl, I was superior to a girl who wasn't light-skinned,
Right.
like, at all. And every light-skinned girl out there that thinks that, like, you are living in La La Land, and there's a real world out here that you need to come back to.
Right.
And that's just what I have to say about that. And to anybody who stands on the side of feeling the need to, like, I guess, I don't know, not allow us as light-skinned people to be a part of the group or the clique. You know what I'm saying? Like, feeling the need to, what is the word? Oh, discriminate. That's the word. Feeling the need to discriminate against light-skinned people. I just say, like, shame on you, because we are so much more powerful together.
Exactly.
It's not necessary, and I apologize on behalf of every quote-unquote light-skinned mixed breed for ever making you feel less than, because it is such a lie. It's such a fluke. And those people, I just feel like have their focus in the wrong place.
Right.
Especially with where we're at. And I know that you didn't ask me about this, but
you can indulge and explain, and then, you know, go for it.
Where we stand in this country right now, the systematic racism that is bearing such a heavy effect on our actual lives, still to this day, as African American people, as Black people in America, whatever you want to call it, we don't have time for none of that.
Right.
It's sad to me that and the couple of people that I did see that are having these conversations, these conflicts with colorism, they seem to be younger. I don't know if it's older people that are weighing in on this too, you know, in a discriminatory way, but it seems like it's affecting a lot of the younger generation.
I think the younger generation, sorry to cut you off, but I think the younger generation, they're just more vocal about it. I think that they are oblivious to, or not even caring about, like, how they speak out or may hurt someone's feelings, because they're kids, they're young. I think that a lot of older people, they have the same views, because these are not views that just go away overnight. These are not views that, you know, you think that you are this superior or this or that, and then it goes away overnight. I think that when you become older, you just kind of know how to hide certain things a little bit more. And children, they're just more out there. They're just more, you know.
Also, how did they come to believe what they believe without someone teaching it to them?
Right.
So it had to come from somewhere. So I get what you're saying. You were taught, because of your social environment, that, oh, light-skinned girls must think they all that thing.
Right.
Because everyone's putting them on a pedestal. And then you probably wouldn't have been cool with somebody like me. And meanwhile, somebody like me would have wanted nothing more than to be your best friend, because I wanted to be accepted in the Black community. And so I just think that everybody is coming from a different place, a different background, and we need to address this case by case and just hopefully get to a place where we can all agree that we're all equal, we're all the same. Because that, at the end of the day, that is what it is.
I don't know. For me, like I said, like, just having this conversation is just really different, because in my group of friends, especially in high school and middle school, I think, okay, so it was like different. So when I was in elementary school, it was like your friends are everybody. Your friends are, you know, my friends. I had a variety of friends from every single race group almost. And then we all used to play together, and it was no, like, divide. Once I got to, like, middle school, then it started being, like, you know, clicked up where the Blacks hung with the Blacks, and then, you know, Asians hung out with the Asians, the whites hung out with the whites, and so on and so forth. And that started happening once I got into middle school. So from my own group of friends, like, we came in a variety of colors. There was me, who was the dark-skinned girl. I had other friend who was, like, dark-skinned. Then I had a friend who was caramel. And then I had, like, two friends that were mixed. So we were, like, a mixed mash of, like, colors and varieties. So I, like I said in my video, and a lot of people got mad at me for saying, like, I don't recall, like, light-skinned girls being picked on for their skin color. And that was mainly because I had friends, and, you know, I don't recall it being a situation where it was directly your skin color is the reason why I don't like you, or, you know, or we have a disagreement. But do you have any accounts to where you ever felt like, aside from not being able to fit in, but like just like engaging in altercations with women or arguments or anything like that, do you think that any of it stemmed from solely skin color, or was your issues just more so just not fitting in?
Right. Well, I don't want to cast, I guess, this opinion that I guess makes it seem like, or that victimizes light skinned girls, right? I don't want to do that. I can't speak for all light skinned girls. For me personally, I think because my attention was focused on the black crowd and I wanted to fit in and be cool with the black crowd, then yes, I was more in touch and in association with black people. And so when I did come across the few black people that, like little girls, you know, that didn't accept me because I was mixed, I would have those altercations. And mostly it was that, let me give you a prime example. People, when I would meet girls for the first time, they would always assume I was stuck up. And it was purely an assumption. And once I started talking and interacting with them, and then they realized, like, yo, she cool. They always ended up telling me, like, I didn't like you at first when I first met you. And I'm like, why? Oh, I thought you were stuck up. But why did you think I was stuck up? It came from nowhere. It was just they were, I guess, pre-programmed to just assume that light-skinned girls think they're better. And so that comes from a place, too. A lot of light-skinned girls, unfortunately, are walking around here acting like they're better, but they're not. And so for me, I got the short end of the stick on that because I never even thought that. So I thought it was cool that I could just come and talk to you and be cool with you, not realizing you're judging me harshly, negatively. And that further perpetuated my need to prove myself.
Right.
Like, you know what? Let me let you know real quick.
Like I'm just as black.
I'm just as black. Bout it. Like, what's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, unnecessarily, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't just show up and be feeling myself because it's not, I didn't have permission to just be feeling myself like, oh, I'm cute today, because I'm cute today really means to some people, oh, you think you're better than me. Right. You know? And so I didn't experience it as harshly because I feel like I made sure to nip it in the butt as soon as I noticed it, as soon as I kind of felt that energy. I think other light-skinned girls probably have experienced it a little bit tougher because they don't probably realize, like, this is the mentality these people are coming from. You need to understand, and don't walk around flaunting your stuff and, you know, toss, you know what I'm saying, tossing your hair, like, look, acting like you. Now, if you were a straight black girl doing that, nobody would have nothing to say about you. But you're not allowed to do that because you're a mixed girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to kind of, like, let them know. Which is
unfortunate, like, and which is sad because you should be able to just feel good about yourself, whether you're light, dark, whatever. Like, I feel good about myself, and it has nothing to do with because I'm light-skinned, because I'm dark-skinned. And I think that this conversation will change the more that we start talking about these things. A lot of people, they're like, oh, talking about it, you know, it just brings up bad things. We just need to leave it alone. It's like, if we just leave it untalked about or tapped into, or I don't even know the word that I'm looking for, but if we don't talk about it and bring up, you know, our feelings about it, then we can't move past it. But the last thing that I want to say or ask of you is just like, what message would you have, like speaking directly to a young girl who may be in your same position that you were in? How would you give them advice to, you know, maneuver and things like that, or to be like, I don't know exactly what I'm saying, but you get what you're
like I said, with everything, listen, be a good listener, be a great observer. Don't talk too much. Like when you, because you're young, and so you're constantly entering new crowds of people, going to new schools and becoming a part of different social groups. And nowadays, the social media, you know what I'm saying? Take time to listen and educate yourself. Educating yourself is going to help a lot, because educating yourself about the history of, you know, Black people in America and understanding why it is senseless to believe you have any superiority despite what your color is. But also listen, because some of the girls at school that might seem like they hate you because, you know, and you don't understand why, well, maybe if you listen and you're patient, you'll understand their pain a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I would hope the same thing for girls on the other end. Before you go and assume that all light-skinned people think that they're better than you, take them as an individual. Listen to the things that they say specifically. I mean, that's, I think, the issue with racism as a whole.
Right.
I know this is called colorism because colorism is, in a sense, like racism within one color, right?
It's within our own, like, within race. Our own, yeah.
Right. Well, racism as a whole, I feel like at the root of it, the issue is that people have felt the need for centuries to box personalities, individual spirits, box these unique individuals, we as unique individuals, into categories based on their skin complexion. And that has never served to any truth. Right. Like, your skin complexion does not determine what you think and who you are. Exactly. But what you learn, what you're indoctrinated, like, you know, what you've been indoctrinated into, what you believe, that's what determines, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. Who you are as a person. And so I would say that take your time, listen to people, educate yourself. And the reason why is because if you're just going about things, responding or reacting to what the social norm is today, then you may find yourself all the way left field and then wake up one day as a grown adult making a comment like the girl did on your video, saying like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize, but I did used to think like this. Because you're not educating yourself, you're just going with the flow of what's happening to you.
Right. Yeah. So that's pretty much, that's good advice. So I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your mommy duties, and you still have your baby right now, and speaking with me and talking to me. I think, like I said, it's very important that we have these conversations, and I really appreciate you for, you know, taking the time out to talk to me. I want you guys to also go to her channel. Her channel is Music and Beauty TV. She has some really dope tutorials on there, so support her out. I mean, support her. Make sure you go to her channel, support her. She's doing some really amazing things. She's just now came into her mommy role. So again, thank you.
Thank you for having me. And I wanted to ask you too, is it okay that I shout out my new YouTube channel?
Oh, go ahead, girl. Shout out whatever you want to shout out.
Because we have a new YouTube channel called Twosome TV, and that's actually where I'm going to be focusing more of my energy, because this is kind of like the exclusive for you. No, a lot of people don't really know this, but like, I have a beauty channel because I grew up learning how to do beauty related things, and so I feel like I can teach people, but I'm not really sold out about like beauty. Like, I don't really spend a lot of time doing my own hair and makeup. I pretty much just do it on a
tutorial basis.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I am super sold out about is my family and conversations like this. You know, really getting to the nitty gritty about like who we are as individuals and how we affect one another, and you know, as a culture and so on and so forth. Right. So Twosome TV is a channel that me and my husband are, you know, going to be creating content for. You know, entertaining content, funny content, family related, family friendly, but also where we're going to be able to have more discussions like this. So I would really love for people to follow me there.
Okay, so definitely check her channel out. And I seen one of her challenges on her channel, which was the Drake In My Feelings challenge. That crap was funny as heck. So definitely go and check her channel out. They're super dope. Her and her husband. I never met her husband. Or her in person, but, you know, they seem like cool people.
Someday, girls, we know all the same people.
Right. It's crazy that I never met you in person, being that we have so many mutual friends, but that's a whole other conversation.
But you know what? Keep doing what you're doing, girl, because you're putting in that work right now, and it is not going unnoticed at all. And I'm glad to see you rising and growing so rapidly right now as well. Don't let anybody shut you up. I know you're not going to.
Right, girl. I ain't shutting up. But thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Keep doing what you're doing, and I look forward to hopefully, you know, connecting on something else in the future.
Yeah, we could do some collabs, girl.
Yeah, we'll talk.
But all right, guys.